Good day, personal, civic, and global perspective students. Matt Lees here, your instructor. So what I thought I would do in this video is give you a little bit of an orientation of the course. Man, this thing is compact. It is going to move quickly. 6 weeks. This is usually at least an 8-week class, oftentimes a 16-week class. So it's going to be stacked and packed and full of action. So ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats. So I thought we'd go ahead and just jump right into it. So of course, go to the Baker webpage. What you're going to do, I'll move myself out of the way, is go ahead and click on Canvas. And what you'll see is your dashboard. If you go to courses, should be right here on the top since it's an early start course. Go ahead and click that. And this is the home page. So as you kind of look at the home page, if you want to find out a little bit more about me, click on Meet Your Instructor. And here's most importantly, my contact information. There's my Baker email. This is my cell. And I've also recorded another one of these videos where I kind of talk about myself. Just to assuage your concerns. Yes, I am a real human being. I'm not artificial intelligence that's grading your papers. So yes, I'm a living, breathing human just like you. So watch that, get kind of a sense of who I am, and that way kind of help us to kind of form a little bit of that important educational connection. So go ahead and take a look at that. A lot of these I'm just going to give you an overview of because you're going to of course read them yourselves. So that's that first button is all the information about me. If you ever need to contact me throughout the course of the semester, that's always going to be there. So keep that in mind. Course overview just gives you a short thumbnail of all the various assignments that we have. It's going to unfold before your very eyes and ears this semester. So once this loads, you'll be able to get kind of a short thumbnail summary of what we're going to be engaged in the next 6 weeks. The challenge here is this is an 8-week class. 8-module class that's usually done over 16 weeks. That would work out to about a module every 2 weeks. This is a 6-week class. So what that means is I've had to condense some of these modules. So I'm going to show you in the, go back to our home page. I'm going to show you what I've done to make that work. So if you actually click on Learning Modules, that will take you to kind of the nuts and bolts of the course. First thing you want to do is just start at the Start Here banner. This has some basic information. My faculty page is here again if you want to access that here. Have a little bit of a Getting Started tab where there's how to navigate the course is here. Most Baker students, you guys are familiar with this setup. You're comfortable with it. Canvas is, by the way, a terrific LMS, so you should be comfortable with it. But not a bad idea to read through these. If you're an experienced student, you'll know which ones to focus on, which ones to ignore. But really, the rest of the course starts underneath that Start Here banner, which is we have all these various modules. So I've set this up to where I set them up for weeks. So we have a total of 6 weeks in this class. So week 1, we're just going to do the first module. That's the good news. But as we progress, again, we're taking 6 weeks, 8 modules into 6. By the time we get to week 2, we're taking on 2 modules. So one thing, and then same thing with week 3, we're taking on 2 more modules. Then we get to the back end of the class. Then we can start taking them one at a time. Week 4, we just have 1 module. Week 5, 1, and then finally week 6, 1. So what I've done with the first week is pretty basic. I'm gonna walk you through that. I'm not going to walk you through all the modules. But the first week kind of sets the table for the rest of the semester. You'll start by doing the reading assignments. You can click on that. I don't want to waste time going through that. It's very straightforward. But what you'll want to do is go ahead and you'll click on Exploring the Sciences. This is a quiz, and this is an instructor view. You won't see that initial page, but what you will see is this. This is the first of all, a video you're going to watch. It's a streaming lecture. Because civic engagement involves economics, philosophy, ethics, political science, and sociology, even a little psychology, each one of these weeks, these modules, we're going to be engaging a different element of those disciplines. So for the first week, we're going to start with sociology, because a lot of civic engagement is about attachment to your community, involvement in especially the civil culture. So we're going to start with social. You're going to watch this video. And there's going to be a 20-question multiple choice quiz on that material. So as you're watching that video, you should be taking notes. Great thing about it is you can hit the pause button, write something down, but really pay attention to those kind of core concepts. Kind of put yourself in my mindset in terms of what material would be good, testable material or not. So you want to take notes over that, and so that'll be the first quiz. That's 20 questions. I give you an hour to do that, so that should be plenty of time. Basically, it works out to 3 minutes per question. So again, it's going to be critical that you take notes, have good notes, because to be able to watch that video in that time frame, it's going to be challenging. So good news is the video itself is fairly short. I think it's about 10 minutes in total length. So that's the first test that you'll have. Then we've got engagement 1 and 2. For the engagements, I had to, because just to kind of save you guys, I've condensed some of these into one. Ordinarily they'd be 2 separate, but this is a shortened course, so I've consolidated those for both of our benefits. So engagement 1 and 2, what you're going to do is basically introduce yourself to the class, and you're going to do so in kind of a fun way. By telling 2 truths and 1 lie about yourself. And what you're going to do is answer these questions in your post. Who are you? What's your major if you have one? Do you have any work outside of your academics? If you're a Baker student, the answer to that question is probably yes. Most of you are out there working. Do you have kids, pets? What are your academic goals? Why did you decide to take this course? What would you like to get out of the course? And what do you like to do when you're not studying? So, and then what you're going to do is you're going to add 2 truths and one lie about yourself, and then we'll try to guess what is your truth and what is your lie. To kind of illustrate this for you guys, I haven't done a full introduction because that's actually done in my video. So what you want to do is actually watch that video first. But then I put my own 2 truths and a lie in here. So you can kind of read that. And I put a reply on here. It's also me, and it's the second one because some of you have had me before. But anyway, make it fun. It's something that will hopefully get us interacting a little bit, get us comfortable with each other, and get us connected a little bit. So read through all this in greater depth. I have the full assignment description there. So you want to get that completed, and then once you've done that, that's all you have to do for module 1. So because this is so short, this first module is going to be due on Friday. I do that so you can get a jump on the rest of the class. And so what I want you to do is, as soon as Friday comes, and hopefully you get this done before Friday, because it's, like I said, it's fairly short, then start jumping on these others, because you can see the next module, there's a lot more assignments associated with that. What you need to think of on this first module, There's two big projects that are due towards the end of the course. And the first is a service learning PowerPoint project. So go ahead and you'll go ahead and click on that. I have it beware because this is something you want to go ahead and start planning for right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to volunteer for a community service organization. It could be the United Way. It could be a local hospital. It could be a nursing home. It could be a child care center. Most importantly, it needs to be something that you care about personally, that you're passionate about. If you're someone who's really passionate about serving the people they're struggling socioeconomically, kind of the poor and the dispossessed, the overlooked and the marginalized, you want to try to find an organization like the Salvation Army, a food bank, someplace that specifically caters to that population you care about. Maybe you're someone who's very pro-life, so therefore maybe you want to go to a pregnancy center and volunteer for that pregnancy center. Whatever the issue that you're passionate about, try to find a placement that fits that. So what you want to do, and if you're looking for some ideas, you can click on this link. It says Finding Service Learning Opportunities. There's some different organizations that are listed there for ideas. You'll want it to be a place in your local community that's close by, because you actually have to do 10 physical hours of service learning for this organization. And because some of them are dealing with people directly, they may ask you, if you're dealing with people directly, to do a background check. So my recommendation would be they may be able to put you somewhere else in that agency that is not directly dealing with people, because background checks oftentimes can take time. Sometimes they don't. I completed a background check for an organization that I work with, and I think it was done within 24 hours. So, but talk to the folks that you're going to be working for and get an idea of the timeline that would take for that background check. But at any rate, you're going to want to jump on this now. Think about where you want to be placed. Go ahead and start reaching out to try to obtain that placement, because the way this is set up, and I'll take you into the overview, this is set up on a module by module basis. So in the first module, you need to think about finding your service learning opportunity. Module 3, by that time, you need to decide where your placement is. Now, keep in mind, Module 2 is going to be next week. So that's one of the reasons why I shortened Module 1. So you can go ahead and start working towards Module 2 and 3, which will be put all into 1 week for next week. Then by the time we get to Module 6, and again, because Modules 4 and 5 are consolidated, Module 6 will actually only be 3 weeks away. You need to have those 10 hours completed, because then what you're going to do is you're going to have a narrated PowerPoint presentation that you're going to talk about your service learning project, and you're going to evaluate your experience and talk about the importance of that specific agency for the community. By the way, those guidelines are also here within this specific link, which is here. This is how to more or less construct your PowerPoint. But at this point, the critical piece is you should be thinking of what agency you want to work for, what charity organization you want to work for, that aligns with your values, that aligns with your beliefs. Then start contacting them to see if you can volunteer. So that's where you should be by the end of Module 1. Because everything else you're going to be working toward is going to be contingent upon those 10 hours and that placement. If you don't have that placement, you can't get your 10 hours in, you can't complete the rest of the assignments that are going to be needed in Modules 3 and also Module 7. So I want to make you aware of that right up front. In a similar way, there's another big assignment coming up. And before I jump on to that next assignment, again, I didn't cover this in a comprehensive fashion. There's tons of information here. I'm trying to keep this introductory video under 20 minutes. So read that yourself. It lays the assignment out in some detail. But at this point, the biggest thing you need to do is get that placement identified, and then start contacting folks to be able to gain access. So the second assignment is that you want to start getting a head start on. And I also put this on here: be aware of the connection through appreciation project. So what you're going to do, and at the end of this, instead of a PowerPoint, it's actually going to be a 3 to 5 page paper. By the way, 3 pages is the minimum. Double space, standard margins, 12-point font. There's no maximum. A lot of students, when they do this, they'll go over that 5 pages. That's totally fine. There's no maximum, but there is a minimum. So one issue that is really it's kind of unwinding and unraveling the social fabric amongst us is a lack of social connection. It's the loneliness epidemic. The CDC has actually identified loneliness as a risk factor for a whole host of societal problems and health problems. People are so isolated today that loneliness is actually becoming a leading cause of disease. Those people that don't have kind of meaningful connections, they don't have friendships, attachments to family members, loved ones. Those people, if you want to predict how long someone's going to live, you look at those connections. And what's happening with our society, with technology, kind of what we're using now, especially with these things, is people are becoming more socially isolated. So what we're going to do with this exercise is we're going to try to basically enhance a connection you already have. So what you're going to do is, the first thing you're going to do is identify someone that has had a profound impact on your life. Maybe it was a teacher that you had that saw something in you that no one else saw, or someone that inspired you to choose your major because they were so passionate about it that you wanted to literally follow in their footsteps. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's a grandparent. Maybe it's a friend, or maybe your grandparents raised you. You had a difficult family environment. Maybe one of your friends' parents kind of filled that vacuum, that parental vacuum in your life. So it can be people from a variety of backgrounds. So someone who's had a significant, profound impact on your life. And what you're going to do is you're going to engage in a detailed appreciation exercise. And then write an appreciation paper from this. So first thing you're going to do is, step 1, and this is what you should do this week, is think of who that person is that's had the most significant impact on your life. It can be on your personal, your academic, or professional development. Then the next step is you're going to plan a face-to-face meeting with this person. By the way, you cannot tell them what this is about in advance. You can't tip them off. So you just have to say, you know what, I'd like to get lunch sometime. Don't say, there's a schmuck named Lee's. He's making me do this assignment, and I have to check a box, because that's gonna limit the impact of what you're trying to achieve here, especially from your recipient, and it's also going to impact your response as well. So don't tip your hand in terms of what this is about, but you need to set up a face-to-face meeting. I prefer not to do FaceTime, because the point is to do it personally, to do it face-to-face, especially over a small meal. Make it meaningful. Make it meaningful. And then what you're going to do is you're going to express your appreciation in detail. It's not just going to be a vague, well, thank you. Give specifics. How did they change and alter the course of your life? Why are they special to you? What did they do that had a lasting impact on you? So you want to take detailed notes in advance, so that way as you're doing this, and by the way, this can be very emotional. You may think going into this that you will not get emotional, especially if you're a guy. I will tell you, I've done something like this, and the person that you share this with, they're going to be touched because we don't typically do this in our society. We oftentimes wait to tell someone what they mean to us after they're gone. And unfortunately, at that point, they don't know how we think about them or maybe how they've impacted us. They may never know that. So that person may get emotional. Which means you might get emotional. So having some notes in front of you, kind of jot down how they specifically influenced your life. So have that in front of you. And then what you're going to do is try to remember as much of this as you can, and you're going to write a reflection paper on this experience. That's going to be in module 6. So that will be in about, let me think about this, about 3 to 4 weeks away. 3 to 4 weeks away. So go ahead and think about who that person is. And you can see kind of the rubric I have set up here. And you're going to write this in a first person narrative. And also, and you're going to be hearing this throughout the course of the semester, especially on this, don't use AI. Don't use artificial intelligence to write this damn thing for you. Defeats the entire purpose of an education, defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do, because you can really have a profound influence on that person's life that you're showing appreciation towards. This course also, if those altruistic reasons are not persuasive enough, this course also has software that will detect when people are using artificial intelligence. If you do that, have course policy, you can basically be reported to the dean. There can be an academic disciplinary proceeding. There's a whole host of range of options. I have an instructor. My best takeaway is don't do it. Actually write the paper. So with all that said, that's really that kind of wraps up module 1. So again, in terms of the coursework, not that tough. You're just going to be doing one discussion question board. Oh, by the way, that 2 truths and a lie, make sure you're also interacting with your classmates. That's critical. I didn't mention that before. You got this little quiz here, but then you've got these 2 kind of big assignments that are coming up very quickly that you need to be not just thinking about, but actively preparing for. Who's the special person you're going to meet with and write that, conduct that appreciation exercise and write that paper on, and then where are you going to do your 10 hours of service learning? That's the big things you need to be jumping on once you get through this. So I have all this to do on Friday to kind of encourage you to jump on module 2 early. By the way, if you're someone who likes to work ahead, I was one of these students. I love working ahead. I've made the entire course available from day 1, so you can work ahead. I encourage you to do that, especially in this short and 6-week format. So I'm going to wrap this thing up as my cat is yelling at me. I'm going to wrap this thing up by saying I am always here to help you in any way possible. If you experience difficulty, reach out to me. I could be doing 1,000 different things. I love teaching because I love interacting with people. You might be thinking, well, Mr. Lees, are you teaching online because you don't enjoy people? Nothing can be further from the truth. One of the greatest joys I have is getting to know you, interacting with you. So know that you're not the Lone Ranger here this semester. So reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. And folks, that's all I have to say here. I'm going to wrap this thing up before I hit the 25-minute mark. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be seeing you all next time.